So it's official. The Atlantic published text exchanges between Trump administration officials reporting specific details about military strikes on the Houthis in Yemen earlier this month. Why is it we're able to read these messages, you may ask? That's because our literal national security advisor, Mike Waltz, added a journalist into their group chat. It was early in the day on Monday that this story started to unfold. Goldberg reported that he had been added into this group chat. It was on the app Signal. It was called Houthi PC Small Group Channel. It showed up as a request on his Signal app, and he accepted the request thinking there's probably no way it was real. Signal's not the normal, typical spot for our top White House officials to be communicating about secret, sensitive details. Goldberg was added, to which he saw a group including our Vice President J.D. Vance, obviously Waltz, Pete Hegseth, our Defense Secretary. Clearly a group of very important decision makers. Goldberg proceeded to witness a conversation about specific Houthi targets in Yemen, specific timestamps for strikes in the moments they were happening. As reported by Goldberg, he didn't think it was real until the details got too specific and the bombs started falling. And he started to kind of freak out because he realized the gigantic mistake that had likely been made by some of the most important leaders in our country. Even if you don't have a clue about security proceedings, you've probably watched a show or a movie that involves the CIA or special ops in some regard. You can understand why our senior leaders shouldn't use their iPhones to text about the details of an attack. They also shouldn't be using the app Signal, a free messaging app. Under normal circumstances, one could assume they might go into the White House Situation Room, a secure server, or a SCIF perhaps. With all that being said, let's touch on how a journalist got mistaken as someone who should have been in this group chat. Mr. Waltz says he has no idea. He was the one who added him. Thinks he must have been sucked in to the group chat. So there's that take. Another take, he may have been mistaken for Jamieson Greer, U.S. trade rep who regularly attends National Security Council meetings. You know, JG, who wouldn't make this mistake? Response from the White House is unfortunately exactly what you would expect it to be. Lying, downplaying, focusing on the fact that no one was killed, luckily. Good thing they added a journalist and not an adversary to the United States. By the way, kept this information secret until he knew it was not going to affect anyone in this mission. For President Trump, he originally had no idea that this chat even existed. He then blamed the journalist for being added into the chat. Finally, he has blamed a staffer for being the one to accidentally make this little oopsie. And our wonderful press secretary herself has said this is just another hoax to make President Trump look bad. At an official Senate hearing yesterday, other Trump officials who were in the chat have stated that this information wasn't actually sensitive. Since it's not classified information, they led on to say it's not a big deal. Today, we have receipts. So, you know what? You can decide for yourself if you think this information should be sensitive, if you would like our adversaries to potentially read this. I'm not sure how you can know all of this information and not be incredibly alarmed. There is abundant evidence that shows this was a huge fuck up. Really scary that people in such powerful positions could make such stupid decisions. Former leaders, CIA officials, etc. have only just validated how concerning all of this information is. On either end of the aisle, I'm not sure how you couldn't be concerned. I'd like to hope that this is a lesson learned, but my fear is what else is going on if something like this can happen. Last thing I'll say is if I ever hear another word about Hillary's email,